It was a very key point in that game because you want to take the fights as EG and you want to win, then take the towers. But they weren't able to do that.
I'd look to more like a slightly cheesier style from EG, whether it's the Dro strats, the Husker strats, something like that could come out of it too.
Break some cheese out right now.
Yep.
Really? Okay. Well, they could, couldn't they?
They definitely could. I would like to see, personally, you see Zion a little bit more greedy hero to be able to do the same thing that basically Misery did this game.
Maybe another Titan or that kind of
If they can get their hands on it, yeah.
Zai's signature hero.
Yeah. Do we think the Naga gets a ban? Was it that influential?
Yeah, I think it's because of the flexibility between carry and supported. Could deserve a ban.
Okay. Thank you very much, all three of you. We are, of course, going to come back outside after our second game regardless. Let's head back to the draft panel for game 2.
5 seconds remaining.
Thank you, Paul. It's that time now. We're getting ready to hop into game number 2 of DC versus EG. Back at my drafting panel, of course, with Merlini, Blitz, and Waga. Gentlemen, I can't believe just a couple of months ago I was watching this DC team just struggling in qualifiers, trying to be that number 2 to EG, and here they are on the verge of knocking them out of the biggest tournament on the planet. Ben, how did a team with such a terrible name make it so far?
Evil Geniuses have a pretty good record for DC. Yeah, their name is amongst the worst.
I can't believe that this is going to be regarded like Digital Chaos, best Dota team on the planet. They're so close, and we're going to have to possibly just represent it.
Blame Suns, man.
I do for most things.
Nonetheless, gentlemen, we have regarded EG as one of those teams that can always seem to crack the code to figure out, you know, they did it last year against CDC, they went up against them, they got knocked down, and then they learned, they adapted. But they're not seeming to do it here against these kind of teams. Like, what's happening? Has things changed, or is DC that much better of an opponent?
I think DC has just been that much better of an opponent. You don't really know what's coming from them or for Wings. I think that DC and Wings are very similar in that regard. In EG, I think they rely maybe a little bit too much on the individual skill to carry them through.
Yeah, the interesting thing is Wings, they pull out like really surprising heroes that we might not even see other teams use at all. Whereas DC, they play heroes that we've seen before, but they just draft in a different way, make it very interesting. And they were also the first team here to beat EG on their Faceless Void, and now they're going to pick it up against them in the first place.
We'll show you how it's done.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about.
And I love the fact that some focus was given to Mu and how good he was as an offlaner, because even back in Archon, he was very outstanding on his offlane skills.
I think maybe EG in the mentality last game was like, okay, we really need Faceless Void for us, and then they first picked it, and now they've lost. So I think they could fall back to what they're really good at, and what was very memorable versus eHome was their late game attrition. And I think that they need a lineup that they can feel comfortable farming with, taking team fights later on into the game.
I mean, I thought that was the last lineup that they had, but it still didn't really pan out for them, and it almost just feels like this Digital Chaos team is a little bit too flexible for EG, because we felt like DC had the inferior draft, but they're able to play with what they had. They do a very good job of it. I mean, I talked to Misery before this event started, and he sounded like he was being pretty pessimistic. He said optimistically top 8 is...
Yeah, that's Misery though. He has that kind of...
He was 100% serious. He said things aren't gelling. That was before the group stage even started. He said, I don't know how we'll do, and all of a sudden they're here. It doesn't even make sense how good they've gotten in this time period.
They've also improved a ton in the lower bracket. We see it from game to game. It felt like the first few games they played was like, okay, they took the game, and now here we are, you know, they're already playing to be in the grand finals. It just feels crazy how much better they play now than in the group stage in the beginning. It's just insane.
They're just on fire, man. We move into some second phase of bans. We saw that DC will continue to at least respect EG in the regard of banning out that Sumail Storm Spirit once again.
I think that Sumail's hero is probably the most important overall, I think, to EG's overall strategy. I think if he plays a very aggressive laner, like saying King or Queen of Pain, they fall off too early, and then if he plays too farm heavy, they also don't have enough people. So they'll likely never get the Mirana, and then that's one of the perfect heroes for him. They're not giving him the Storm Spirit, and there's not too many other ones that I see for them that scale that well. Maybe the Invoker for Sumail.
Yeah, and Queen keeps her pretty terrible win rate here as well. I mean, it's a hero that you need to do so much in the early game, and he had a bad game in the previous game, Sumail. He tried to make some rotations, even when he didn't have ulti ready. If you commit to fighting a little bit too much and it doesn't go your way, he found himself just not having the farm needed, and Mirana just took over.
Yeah, Will mentioned that he died that one fight on top where we got that Starfall on him. I think that was just the beginning of the end. He died like 19 minutes in, and that's not where you want your first death to be, especially when you only have 2 or 3 kills.
For a hero like Queen of Pain, I think you almost always want to just keep snowballing. Waga, you know, you can start 6-0 as a Queen of Pain, you die once, and it feels like your game is just ruined.
Oh yeah. dying once, if you have a good game even as Queen, then you're still not off the pressure, right? Yeah, you need to have a good game to begin with, so it's just... I feel like Queen has too many drawbacks, honestly, in the current meta. I think Puck is just superior in many times. Wings, the only team that really saw run the Queen successfully was with the Drow strat.
Just about to say that is. That's what made it such a powerhouse in the laning phase and going forward. But for EG, I think it is a pretty big deal that they can't rely on that Faceless Void. The fact that they lost with it, it's going to break some confidence for them. Moo, I haven't really seen him play the Tidehunter this entire tournament, but still did perfectly fine with it.
He definitely did.
Yeah, for DC, I think that last game was a big confidence booster. If you're able to break one of those heroes, we saw Wings first phase ban the Void. Like, if you're able to just say, oh, we can actually still beat the Void even if you first two pick it, I think that's a pretty big drafting advantage for Digital Chaos.
I'm pretty sure EG probably had the same feeling as us after that first draft, because we all on the drafting panel felt that, yeah, EG, they got what they wanted, they had a nice combination, and their heroes didn't look that bad against the DCs, but just the execution as well of how DC played.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this Witch Doctor is curious.
Look at him go. Third pick for Digital Chaos. We already know his awesome synergy, of course, with the Faceless Void here. We don't get to see too much love for the Doctor, but obviously very, very good against the Beastmaster, in particular in that laning phase.
I think EG are kind of doing what Wings try to do. They do the Elder Titan and the Beastmaster, very flexible laning, Elder Titan off lane. Not too common nowadays, but you can kind of put these two heroes anywhere. You can roam around with them and then lead into something else. I also think another hero that Sumail had a lot of success with is the Medusa, which also fit into the same similar draft that Wings ran.
All right, gentlemen. Dazzle came out here for EG. You know what I'm alluding to here? Will we be seeing...
I don't think it's that good going for Huskar here for EG, in fact. Because Digital Chaos already have good tools. You have the Bloodlust to buff up your DPS more. You have the Witch Doctor ulti, which is physical. You have Void, who I really love against Huskar. Just the Chronosphere is such a good way to deal with him. Very often he's hard to lock down. But we'll see. They have the... They have it in their pocket now, exactly. So EG, they can just wait with it till 5th pick and see if Digital at least wastes a ban on it.
I think with Axe still in the pool too, it's very risky.
I really like this pickup from EG though. It fits their overall playstyle. It doesn't even really need something to pair with, but you want to be able to save Sumail when he goes for some of those riskier plays. And we usually see something like the Shadow Demon or the Dazzle to back him up. In that game though, the Shadow Demon was just a little bit too slow.
Yeah, it didn't really work. They're gonna go, DC gonna go with the Resolution Slark here.
Yep.
Really one of his most comfortable heroes. He has had outstanding performances on, finds a lot of solo kills when he plays it. And it's also pretty good against heroes like Elder Titan, because he can sneak around and get in on that hero, so he can't just stand in the backline and have that massive impact. But I love, look at EG's drafts. The armor impacts from these heroes and the auras are really, really coming together.
They also always have a hero for vision. Last game it was a Naga Siren. This game it's the Slark, and I think it's very important versus ET and Beastmaster that you're never at a vision disadvantage.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, that is pretty powerful.
5
Still need to figure out what that Sumail hero is going to be. We already know the emphasis on how important he is to EG and being able to succeed, and with him continuing to be targeted with all these respect bans, his options become a bit more limited on what can really be fruitful here.
I think you want a physical damage dealer with the Dazzle. Maybe like TA is also pretty decent for them.
TA is doable here. It's not terrible, and they have good auras. Like, that plays in a big part, I think, in this game for EG. They need something that can work with the Weave and the attack speed bonus from Beastmaster.
Yeah. DC say no Huskar, by the way. They had banned it out.
Yeah, you should just do that against Dazzle. It's really sad when you see a team see the Dazzle come out as a third pick and then not last phase ban Huskar when they have a bad lineup against it. So just good respect here.
I think they had an okay lineup against it, and I don't think it would be the type of hero that Sumail wants to play. Like, you're in the deciding game right now. You might just get knocked out. I think you give him the best possible odds of giving him something like a mobile core that allows him to continue to scale. I think that's the Sumail's playstyle.
Yeah, I mean, to the benefit of EG, if it was their intention the whole time to not even go for the Huskar, to their benefit, they at least forced DC into a ban.
Exactly.
So they hold that advantage.
And Dazzle is extremely good without having to pair up with the Huskar. He doesn't need him, you know? He's strong in this lineup. Also gives him all the sustainability they need to keep pushing. If they win a team fight, they don't have to back off to heal up or anything.
Long thought process here.
It's kind of hard to read what DC want as their last pick here, actually. So many heroes available that we could play. I feel he's very versatile as a mid laner as well, but this is where they can kind of put them in an interesting spot because they can ban out some mid hero, and they also have their mid hero as their pick coming up.
Yeah, there's still an Invoker, I believe, on both sides.
Invoker's banned.
Okay.
Yeah, ban in the second phase by AG. They have limited mid a little bit here with the Storm, Invoker, Alchemist, and Timber, all of them removed. Even Huskar, of course. Okay, Magnus gone.
EG's turn
That's
to
still.
Yeah.
They ran that huge wombo combo versus TNC.
Yeah, the Bloodlust and the Empower would also just make Slark insanely fast at farming up. The Resolution doesn't even need it normally. He farms so fast without it, but give him all that.
10
So what
seconds
is
remaining.
for Sumail?
One of the...
5 seconds remaining.
I guess this isn't the best position for EG to be in. They have to reveal their mid matchup first.
They could tinker. They could tinker
Reserve
this.
time.
Elder Titan and Beast.
That's true. Lots of options there for Tinker to get around the map, but they actually opt to go for the
DC's
Medusa.
turn to pick.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's just very similar to Wings' draft. The E team, the Beastmaster, they have the physical damage now with the Sven and the Medusa, and it's also a hero that they won with, which I also think lends more credibility to it.
Yeah, and a good thing
10
for them with the Elder
seconds
Titan, as
remaining.
you mentioned, Slark stacks up so much agility. All that armor he gets is just negated if
5
Elder Titan
seconds
plays correctly, so Medusa can actually kill the Slark.
Jakiro comes out! He finally comes out!
Look at that smile on
Yes.
Misery. He's like,
Laughing
yep.
so hard at this.
Oh my god.
They ran this a few months
It's
ago,
Lina.
but it's been a very long time. They were trying to find substitutes for a mid laner. They tried Lina, they tried Leshrac, they tried Jakiro. I'm so glad that they pulled it out here.
Let's see the solo mid Jakiro.
You happy now, Black? He's the one that's been whispering the whole frickin' time. Let's send it over to our casters right now. It's LD and Mott. Jakiro.
But is there anything more North American than a Jakiro mid? This is an absolute staple for the region. It just feels right. DCEG, they've got them on the ropes. Now they're going to try to knock them out of the event with something that, frankly, no other region really runs.
10
Most other
seconds
regions don't even
remaining.
believe in. Do you think the mid Jakiro is going to work?
It certainly has the chance. This was
5
popular during
seconds
Manila,
remaining.
during the group stages. It won many games there, and I'm looking forward to seeing how DC and Weehawk can play. It's certainly going to be an exciting matchup as we jump into the game. It is game number 2. Like you said, it is that Weehawk Jakiro, and for EG, they do pick out the Dusa, but this is one of the most exciting picks so far of the tournament. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, Jakiro gives you a massive amount of AoE damage, and when you have Chronosphere to set it up, Weehawk could take over team fights, but this is not like your traditional carry type hero. Jakiro definitely someone who needs to get things done in the first like 10 to 15 minutes, whether it's Liquid Fire sieging, setting up team fights with the Chrono and providing the damage. If you're just sitting back trading farm going late game against EG, DC, while they do have other heroes that scale, the Jakiro's not the one who's going to take them there on his own. So excited to see what Weehawk can get done in the mid lane. Interested to see what the build will be. It's a very annoying harassment hero in general, though. Between Liquid Fire, lots of AoE damage. They may even want to bring the Dazzler Elder Titan in to help the Dusa out early on.
You know, and this was the problem for
30
DC. I felt like they
seconds
didn't have enough damage, magical damage, to deal with EG's draft. You have a lot of, obviously, armor with the Weave, with the Warcry coming out as well. For the build for the Jakiro, I think beforehand we saw the Veil being picked up, and we might see it again. Right now he is the one null talisman. We'll wait and see. We will go for that Veil later on down the road. The good thing about this hero is that with Liquid Fire, he's so annoying to lane against, even with Mana Shield for Sumail. So we'll see how they decide to lane this up.
They may want to give him help early. I think Jakiro is one of the most irritating heroes in the game to lane against. Right up there with a Viper, Razor, if you're not a hero who naturally can keep their distance effectively. But we will see what DC look to get done. Not to mention, it's actually the forehead strat, because they also have the Ogre Magi, another equally annoying hero in his own right in the laning stage. It does feel like they just really want to pressure Sumail.
Yeah, they're gonna, like you said, with the Ogre, they can come in with the Ignite, maybe get an Orb of Venom. If not, just hit him with the club and go from there. Obviously, stack the Liquid Fire up and...
Oh, this could be devastating.
Is he close enough? He's gonna get this, he needs 2. Oh, they juice it to the north, that might be enough! It's gonna get to the high ground, it looks like it might get away. Wow.
He's still going for one. I don't think he's going to be able to catch up. But he does find Universe, who has abandoned the offlane straight to the jungle, whereas Moo top lane, although he takes some heavy harassment here, is trying to lane against the EG defensive tri-lane. So with nobody in the offlane, the DC supports, they're free to pressure mid. They're free to go and contest the Beastmaster. Universe going to try and dodge this as he heads down towards bottom, and Zai will now take over the lane as it's pushed in quite a bit.
So I can still die here if he's not careful, gets pounced up. They can rotate the supports, but all of the supports from DC are mid right now. Look how low Sumail is.
He is going to be so tilted. This lane is just unwinnable between Misery and Weehaw, constantly harassing him. It is the early point in Liquid Fire for Weehaw. Often we do see it maxed on poor Jakiro. Doesn't cost him any mana, so it's a nice spell to just constantly be able to spam. Overall, we'll see more and more of a clubbing. And Dusa is okay at catching up. The hero's not very mobile, can clear stacks, but the hate continues, Mod, unabated. EG have to get a lot out of these other lanes, and especially the Jungle Beastmaster to justify how hard the Dusa is being bullied. Only 3 CS so far.
Feels like we're back a month ago when Jungle Beastmaster was the thing, and Universe now going with the Iron Talon. Should have plenty of farm. We see that early level 6 coming up, but now mid again. The dual breath, the liquid fire, it's on cooldown. The mana shield will come up though. That should keep him safe. Sumail was holding on to it for a long time. Doesn't want to waste any excess mana and try to stay alive as best as possible. And he parried another salve out. Sumail has to chew through 2 salves at this point already in this game.
He is not even getting to see creeps at this point. Sumail already like almost a full level behind Weehaw here, at least 3/4 of one, and the pressure continues. PPD forced to rotate. This will free up the boy top though.
Boy now getting up to 7, last 6 coming out. PPD healing up Sumail. Mystic Snake coming through, annoying Weehaw, taking some mana back as well. So Misery, not quite that free pressure that he was getting earlier, but Sumail will finally get a creep wave under his tower and should be able to CS this at the very least. But again, like you talked about, Universe.
Even then, Weehaw still denying him. Oh man, this is brutal stuff in the mid lane. Constantly playing aggressive. So the nice thing about running mid Jakiro, he's very difficult to gank, so you can play aggressively like this. Him and the Ogre, like look at their collective HP. They've got almost 1600 between the two of them. There's really no threat of dying unless they tower dive, which they are trying for now, but PPD was ready.
He has a double damage rune as well. They're chasing Misery. That dual breath might deter them. Misery might stay alive. Weehaw has liquid fire as well. Looks like they'll both get away. They weren't expecting the DD dazzle coming out from PPD, and Misery will deny himself as well.
If that's not an Ogre and Jakiro, I think they give up 2 kills there. My god, these heroes are tanky. So with the rotation of the dazzle towards the mid lane move, he's freed up a lot top. The good news is Sven is quite difficult to lane against for any melee hero because the cleave damage constantly harass you in lane. But the key thing for Mu is just getting experience, which currently he is. So he does a lot, and now that the creep wave's dead, he goes in on Fear. But that's the time walk back. Nothing for Fear to cleave to at the current moment, but still, the Sven farming well. Sven not the strongest laning hero, but in this matchup, and once he's had a little help, he doesn't really need that much support in the lane. But Sumail mid.
He's running low on mana, and Weehaw had another liquid fire. He could have gone for that, but still a long cooldown at level 2. 2 points into dual breath, 2 points into liquid fire at this point. And then with the bloodlust on top of it too, it's even more harassed. They're putting so much focus on this hero. And he finds a regen rune to top it all off.
Quite literally, he is now ready to go for round number 2. Sumail, even in the dual lane, still struggling a lot to farm 13 CS. And Dusa is an incredibly farm-intensive hero, and you've already got a Sven on the team. So again, for EG, they're just trying to buy time for Universe. Once he hits level 6, he will be the space creator for the squad. They can't really get a whole lot out of Dazzle in that regard. The hero doesn't rotate that effectively for offensive maneuvers. Zai getting his levels in the offlane, he can maybe follow up the Roar. So I think EG do have potential to salvage this terrible start for the Dusa. And keep in mind, Sven free farming right now. They're getting a lot out of the offlane. Zai already level 4, so all is not lost. It's more, does Sumail tilt off of this and does it get inside his head?
I don't think so. I mean, Sumail's such a good comeback player. If they can get some camps up, maybe stacked with, and he's gets split with split shot, but he's already just taking down so low again without using that mana shield. Misery top lane. He's setting up for Fear right now. There's only 2 up here. I don't think they can bring Fear down. He's so tanky.
They have an observer ward. They just got a glimpse of Misery.
Yeah, they're going to see him now. He's going to have to try to get away. They have Stop ready to go, I believe, but the Stormhammer first. Stop backs him out. There's going to be a lot of damage share between the Spirit as well as the physical Stop coming through, and he will fall. No, the Chrono Spear, but PPD comes in to finish the job. That is first blood. Now Fear, cast up. I think they can bring him down, though.
That was not the ideal Chrono. Traps his ally in position for PPD to finish the job. No Radiant Vision towards the top side of the map, so they didn't know that PPD was rotating. He has been primarily parked mid to support Sumail. Not only does EG get the first blood, but DC wastes the Chrono, so now EG will feel a lot more confident elsewhere on the map. They don't have to be worried about his rotation. And here comes the bailout crew. Zai and PPD both coming mid as the DC tri-lane on the Dusa continues. They really want to help him out, but it's Misery they see first. They're going to stomp him.
He's going to get caught as well. Yeah, they should. Damage here, maybe not. He's very tanky. He's got 8 armor. You get the Maledict off on Zai. He's in the tree line. Dual Breath will hit him as well, but here comes Universe. Doesn't have Roar yet, but he's getting close. The Liquid Fire coming at Wheat, getting chased down now.
Even Sumail getting involved. Just a casual 7 hero clump up in the mid lane. All the while Resolution says, I'm just going to hit Creep's bottom. He's now the leader in CS. He was down about 10 to Fear earlier, so he's done a good job at catching up. Fear having to rotate to find that kill in the jungle earlier. He brings the tower low, but EG not going to give it up just yet. No Roar available. They just don't want to give this up for free. Looking for the tower deny. Will they get it?
Poison touch to push him back. Dark pass. Oh, get it.
That's big for Resolution now. They are chasing Saksa. The Boar almost can, if they can just get a stomp and the Boar gets in range.
Oh, they got the Boar hit. The stop coming through, but they are pretty far away. I think Saksa's fine. We'll just sleep him for a little bit.
I mean, all things considered, Sumail basically getting tri-laned at times here mid. I think he's doing okay. 23 CS, but Dusa takes a while to come online. The Stone Gaze does have a lot of natural synergy with their team. Already, they have the Dazzle, whose weave will help amplify the physical damage that EG bring to team fight. On top of that, the Sven, who's an incredibly hard hitter. So it's not like it's a one-core lineup where, oh, you shut down the enemy carry, they're just going to lose late game. Also, Elder Tightening here that scales very hard, so... EG, I think they're handling this early pressure from DC well. The real question is going to be, can DC find that big team fight where they combine the Jakiro with the Faceless Void? A kill or two, you will take towers rapidly. Witch Doctor heal to sustain the push. Liquid Fire to muscle the towers down, and tanky frontliners that can soak up tower hits in the Ogre and the Jakiro. So that is going to be the next maneuver for DC. Ideally a Chrono, but then you really want to push. You pick Twin Head, it is not just to sit back and farm all game. As Moo gets caught by the Roar. Oh, this could be bad. He does have a time up with a stop, perfectly timed. As he's mid-cast animation, he falls.
Very close for him to get out there with that time walk away. Dead for 25. Saksa on top of an Observer Ward right now. It's a big thing about DC's draft is they're really losing out on the experience for these supports right now. The levels, it's not looking so good for them at this point. Level 3 for the Ogre is spending too much time in this mid lane and roaming around. Zai and Sumail on the tree line to try to deny or at least help out this tower. Saksa gonna run on through. Stop Zai, cast up. The stop canceled immediately.
Oh, that was really well played. If he just tries to run, he will get stomped. He quite likely dies there with the Boar Slow, plus the Medusa hitting him with the Mystic Snake. Saksa has his individual play has been stellar throughout the event, whether it's on defensive supports like the Oracle, someone who likes to roam a little bit, has more laning presence like the Witch Doctor, and here comes the push as Jakiro will be the siege engine.
They are just not afraid. They're pushing right past that tower. Everybody from EG backs up, and that's the tier 1 mid gone again early on in this game. They get the tier 1 mid, they get the tier 1 bottom, similar to how they played last game, just taking down those early towers. Resolution on that Razor. Now Resolution's on the Slark, top in net worth. In fact, almost up 1,000 on the Sven at this point. Very close. And he's also got the Shadow Amulet for the Shadow Blade, the standard build for Slark in this game.
Yeah, Resolution feeling pretty confident about his ability to move around the map, and the Slark this game isn't really that easy to deal with for EG as far as killing him goes. They have Stone Gaze to zone him away. The Stomp is quite difficult for Slark to fight into, but as far as like reliable catcher on the map, they don't really have that much. Just Beastmaster Roar, which a well-timed Dark Pack can deal with quite easily. So I think he can split push a lot, farm a lot this game. But team fighting, though, against EG will be difficult unless the Chrono's ready as EG move in, but the Scan is going to scout it, Maud.
They had the ward there as well. They smoked underneath the ward, so EG, they're walking in. They still might find a kill anyways, but it's going to come through. There's going to be the Roar. The Stomp might come out next, and Saksa stopped up more than likely dead, sticks up, but it's the Shadow Wave that gets the kill. But Resolution looking to turn this around. Here comes Weehan Moo. They've got Chrono, DPD, and Universe in trouble. Good grave, but the Chrono on the 3. Moo still gets turned to stone at this point. Sumail's trying to help out, and now Seer is rotated and possibly got straight, but now they time walk away and avoid the death on that Void.
Resolution, no Shadow Blade yet. Tough for him to go in when he's this low HP. Wants to heal up in the tree line. Looks to re-engage, but Sumail at full HP. Now the Arrow Splitter. Weehan gonna juke away from that one. Didn't see the Jakiro able to combo very effectively with Moo in that fight, and now they move forward onto Fear. Cast is gonna bounce, it's a beauty. Catches up Fear, then onto Sumail. The maximum range on that bounce pretty much as they chase forward. Braiding Fear down, the Jakiro effect out in force. Now Sumail on the run. They slay the Sven after all that. Both teams very good at disengaging, but still in the end, getting the kill there, not losing any cores. It looked like a good stone gaze to cancel the chrono, or to counter the chrono, I should say, but EG also got caught or was zoned away, and this is the issue running the Sven against Void, is it's very difficult at this stage without a Blink Dagger to get into the fights.
He was just kited down essentially, which happens so often to Sven early on in the game especially too. And like you said, the liquid fire constantly being put up onto Sven. There was also the ignites that come out, the cast, they have the fire blast. They have plenty of ways to slow down and stun the Sven and make sure he doesn't escape. It'll be a little bit tougher for Sumail with that mana pool, but still, Fear dying there is absolutely critical. He's gone for the farm ability as the Helm of the Dominator right now. He's trying to get the cleave up and stack up these Ancients as much as possible and go from there. That's a huge fight though. Resolution continues to gain more and more net worth right now. He's gonna have a Shadow Blade done here within about 100 gold or so.
Yeah, he will be looking to move around a lot. Finds a DD rune once the Shadow Blade's complete. Even if it's not to kill, it will be to put pressure on the map in general, and that's where the Jakiro, having that hero that can knock down towers, makes a big difference as you open up the map, create more safe spaces where you can aggressively roam with minimal fear of ganks. Unless there's a Blink Dagger on the Beastmaster or the Sven, still a ways off if either wants to go for it. Very little chance that they can kill a Slark when he's choosing to split push.
For EG, it looks like they will just try to trade right now, and I think they'll be successful. DC will take the tower. They could TP in bottom, but I think it's too late. They have the glyph, but this tower's already low enough. You can see that everyone else in DC is backing away. They don't want to take this engagement. Here will grab the last hit on that tower. He is going to be going for what I think to be an Echo Saber. He's going to grab that early on. He has extra damage to go with as well.
Yeah, Echo, great pickup on Sven. I would like to see DC look to contest the Ancient stacks, as this is where Sven's economy excels. We saw Wings yesterday did a really good job of that throughout their series. So the Fnatic also very effective with. You don't want to just let a Sven free farm, but it's tough to fight up the high ground into the Hawk. EG, it doesn't look like, whenever you see a Void, you're like, oh man, that team's team fight is ridiculous. But EG's team fight is also ridiculous in its own right. Elder Titan, Dusa, the combination of the Dusa and the Sven, and walking up high ground without vision against that lineup, you get caught by a stomp, you could very quickly lose 2-3 heroes. So now that the Shadow Blade's out, Resolution gets more active, but the Hawk Sentry combo, I think they might see him here. He does run by the Sentry, so now they know Rezo has a Shadow Blade. EG can look to punish this. Actually an early gem pickup for them.
They're going to play together for now, knowing that Shadow Blade is probably up. Universe has picked up Vlad's, and look at some of the other heroes as well for EG. They're starting to come online. Sumail's gotten a little bit more time, but there is the mech up now for the Jakiro, so if they want to continue the pressure, they certainly can. There's not many towers left at tier 2s, or all that stands in their way for DC to take down. Those tier 2 towers with a lot of gold, and we'll see if they can push into them soon. See how much the Jakiro can actually do. This Weeha Jakiro, they pulled it out in the last second, and so far he's done a great job. Third in net worth, 1-0-1. He's got the mech ready to go. The Bloodlust on top of that.
Yeah, but Dusa's catching up. Considering how much emphasis they put on shutting her down, she's only 500 behind the Jakiro. I think EG are fine with this, and to me, DC need to be going for the next round of towers. They've gone for a mech on Weeha. He's not going for, more of a damage or farming-oriented build, not an early Veil pickup. This is a 5-man item for DC. Make no mistake about it. This is, for the most part, a 4-protect 1 lineup. The Void, mostly just a setup hero. Jakiro, a pusher, and only the Slark who really will scale hard in the late game. The way DC are itemizing, they do want to take fights, and they look for one with this smoke.
They're just going to get PPD. They don't want to use the Chronosphere for this. He is going to back away. He was under the tower. Yeah, they'll drop a ward down, though.
A Chrono on a single support is okay if you get a tower off of it, but they're looking for more.
TP is. They're going to time walk into Chrono. The TP is canceled at the last second. It was Sumail, and he would have gotten caught there. They only get the single kill on the support. Maybe the tower will start stacking up the liquid fire to go with it.
Man, that would have been huge if they had killed Sumail there. He canceled that at the last possible second. Clearly had his camera right over the tower as he was TPing in. Sometimes players are checking elsewhere on the map. They're busy spending their gold, but he was on point. Here gets the last hit on the tower on the back of that. So EG only losing a support here. More importantly, it's worth mentioning, it's very difficult to push into Elder Titan. Like, the overall EG lineup, they have Mystic Snake, they have Axes, they have Elder Titan. That hero especially shuts down pushes. If you don't catch him when you go in, then it takes a while to bring the creep wave to the tower. It's quickly destroyed. DC overall, they can't really be happy only getting a support, not taking a tower, and They're going to back off the farm, but all the while, Dusa continues to keep the pace here. They have not shut down the ancient farming, although that observer ward was planted. We've yet to see them make use of it.
To get a scan, they know where at least one of these heroes is for EG. They have the Medusa with the Dragon Lance as well, so extra tankiness. It doesn't give you the stats for the mana shield, but still, it gives you that HP that you're going to need against this lineup.
Universe making a move on the top lane. He finds Weehaw, gets off the roar. There's no backup here for the Jakiro, who seems horribly out of position.
Still has that neck. The rest of the team, it looks like they were coming for a moment, but they're going to leave him. Weehaw's just going to go down as they try to push mid, but they're not really doing that much damage mid at this point. The stop just narrowly avoided by Moo. He will be able to time walk away.
I mean, Jakiro, this is not a Meepo. This is not an Invoker. The hero can kill buildings quickly, yes, but he's extremely immobile, especially with the build that Weeha's gone for. Needs to be with the team. Not sure if DC, if he was calling for the team to push there, or whose fault it was as far as the communication goes, but if you just leave that hero alone, EG will punish. Buys them more time to farm. Things are shaping up. Like, this pace of the game to me favors EG overall. Not to say DC's lineup can't scale, but I just feel like DC were expecting to get more done at this point.
Yeah, I mean, with the build they won on the Jakiro, they should have been pushing a lot more with that mech, but they just haven't found the kills they were looking for. Sure, they got PPD, but that's it. And you have the Medusa, as you've talked about, farming fine.
I'm Resolution with a Shadowblade build. He hasn't found any kills either,
right,
so
exactly.
sure, he keeps up his farm, but the lineup wants to either find kills with Slark and keep the carries down that way, or it wants to push towers, ideally both. So far, they've done neither.
It's still a very close game. If you look at the cores right now for both teams, it's like all three of the cores for both sides are pretty even at this point. 6,000 roughly for the Jakiro as well as the Void, and for the Medusa and the Universe Beastmaster on top of that. So the Sven and as well as the Slark, they're going to be the go-getters in this game and see if they can get anything done with their items.
And there is a plan B for DC, Resolution Slark. We've seen him on a variety of carries this tournament, whether it's Naga, Morphling, Slark, one of the other big ones. He can take over games, but I just feel like it's a tough Slark game for him to fight directly into EG. Like, you're walking into Stone Gaze, that instantly forces Slark to turn and run away. The Elder Titan has a lot of zone control, so at that point he really counts on Moo to find good Chronos. Really their only reliable team fight setup is the Chronosphere. If he doesn't, he'll have to resort to split push primarily. They have a lot riding on Moo's shoulders. Also, the Void, probably the main hero that can deal well with Dusa late game. Chrono, with the Diffusal Blade Mansa build, eventually can shut the Dusa down in team fights, but he's got a ways to go if he wants to run there.
Like he caught, he has no mana. He's going to be able to at least get the Mystic Stake, but now he's out of the Earth Splitter. They have to avoid it. Stop hits and the Earth Splitter. Now Resolution has to Shadow Dance away. Moo was just not there for the Chronosphere, and again, a little bit too quick on the draw, I think, for DC. They needed to wait for the rest of their team, and Sumail's able to get out just fine. And that would have been a huge pickup. Sorely missed.
Yeah, they at least get in position to chip at the tower. Liquid Fire, roasting it, but it's just tough to kill EG's heroes. They're all extremely tanky. You've Mana Shield, Sven, who's a strength hero that has War Cry, so builds extremely tanky. Beastmaster, relatively high HP. They have the Dazzle to keep heroes alive longer. Not to mention the Weave as the game goes on to deal with physical damage and amplify theirs.
They have the Blink Dagger now on Fear, and he's going to rotate down bottom and try to find just take down that ward, but now DC need to be careful. Stormhammer on to two. Fear pops the gunstring. Roar coming out in the Moo, and they bring it both down to Cleave, as well as the follow-up from the rest of EG.
They might. I wonder if they even consider moving towards the Roche Pit here. There is split push from Resolution that PPD will feel like he has to go deal with, but yeah, they have Beastmaster. They do have God Strength for about a third of the duration remaining. They can try for this.
Take this. Resolution still staying around. Maybe he's going to go for... He's just going to, I think, just be a pesky nuisance and try to pick up the support on the back line.
Courier, maybe?
Or the Courier would be nice, too. For now.
So far, nothing, though, and the Roshan is getting low mon. I almost certainly DC want to contest this, but with no Void, they just don't have a great pathway into the pit. They get the Courier Snipe. It's the consolation prize for DC, but a big win goes the way of the boys in blue.
This is huge. I mean, it's right when that Blink Dagger comes out for Fear. They smoke up, they set up a great two-man stun. Cleave comes through, but DC still want this tier 2 tower mid, and they're putting a lot of effort into it. Liquid Fire should bring it down into deny range. They should be able to get it done. G. Yeah, goes to Weehaw. They missed time. The right click from Sumail.
Liquid Fire, what a spell.
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good at killing towers.
They're looking to team fight, though. They have the high ground position. EG are walking up into a chokehold here, but the Void isn't quite ready.
Yes! What a death lord! PPD getting caught. Universe will fall off. Here comes Fear turning around. But a great promo coming out from Moo.
Nice death lord, the follow-up damage, but Stone Gaze disengages a bit for EG. They try to back away, but they found the old man. They isolate him. They bring him down. Sumail has the regen room, has the agent. Not gonna matter. DC, they came, they saw, and they will conquer EG with an agent. They say, we don't care. A triple for Rezo. The Jakiro coming up big there with the 2-hero ice path. An incredible cast from Saksa. A very late chrono, but late was good in that situation. It meant that DT had done enough damage that EG wanted to run, and then they were prevented from doing so.
Well, watch this counter initiation. Zai gets off the stop. The Earth Splitter was coming through, and Fear was doing the work, but he gets a beautiful chrono, not just on Fear, but on Sumail as well. Sure, he did get caught out with the Stone Gaze, but he did his job in Fear, and everybody from EG fell. What a fight from DC.
What confidence from this team. They see EG's team fight, and they say, you know what? If we have the positional advantage, we can still take a fight. EG are a bit weak when it comes to dealing with magic damage at this stage of the game. Haven't built BKBs yet, don't have a pipe picked up. They're extremely resilient against physical damage, but that's where the Jakiro pick comes in. And this is before a potential Veil. I would love to see one from him as the game moves along.
That damage would be even more significant, but the BKB is being built for Fear. At least he has the Ogre Club. On no one else, I don't believe, for EG at this point, so he's going to be the only one that can deal with the magic damage that is bursted out. But still, Resolution also did a lot of work that team, but the Echo Saber, he's up to 4.4k gold, and he's already built that Orb of Venom, so it's going to be a Scotty for Resolution coming out next.
Oh man, Misery, the Veil Bearer now. This is a big pickup. And I mean, it talked a lot about the Jakiro's magical burst. Ogre brings a lot to the table too. Still only a level 2 Fire Blast, so he's gone, of course, for the Bloodlust Ignite build, but offers quite a bit nonetheless. As DC muscle down another tower. I have Scotty is done for Resolution, I believe.
He's got enough for it, and he's going to buy it right now.
God, he's going to be so difficult to kill.
And it's the kiting too also. The Scotty slow on the Sven, or even on the Deuce is nice to have.
And he doesn't, like, Resolution doesn't feel that pressure this game. There's no Disruptor where you have to build into a BKB, potentially, to deal with him. They don't have an instant silence. All the initiation that EG has, even a Blink Stormbolt, you can see that coming. Just Dark Pact or Shadow Dance generally will be able to get out of there. Beastmaster Blink Roar has a windup, and he doesn't have a Blink anyway. So there's no great catch. Resolution can play for the late game with the Slark build, can play a big reader with the items, and it's unlikely he dies unless he dives super aggressively into the EG lineup. So the matchup is good for Slark at this, with this build up and with the items EG have gone for.
Got Shrink, I think, to clear out another ancient stack here for Fear and get him closer and closer to that BKB. One point for DC to decide to fight again. They now have the Scotty, they have the Veil, as you talked about. I don't think they want to let EG continue to farm that much further. Again, we talked about EG's late game. It is significant. So where at this stage do you go for DC?
It's just tough to push because of the Elder Titan pick more than anything.
Right.
So I don't think DC want to force it too much. I would really like to see them get a gem at this point. With no outer towers for EG aside from that one tier 2 bottom, you have a 3-tower advantage. You're Radiant. You know the next Roshan's coming up in the next couple minutes, and ideally want to be in position to contest it. So I think for DC, this is the point in the game where they look to establish map control. They don't need to end the game now. It's very tough to go high ground, but if you can starve EG, you're looking to be in great shape heading late.
The thing is that DC doesn't have the gem. It's actually on Universe for EG, and they have the map control. They got a couple of the dire jungle wards as well as one towards that Roast Pit, and it looks like EG might know this is coming.
Oh, they've shown the Sven mid. There is a Dazzle behind him. Patient positioning from Moo here. Does have the Blink Dagger now in the Void. Will they find that pick?
If DC wants to go for too much here, they still have the Shadow Blade for Resolution. It's the Spirit that is going to come through and scout this out for...
So much scouting potential from EG, whether it's the Spirit, the Hawk. They're doing a really good job at anticipating these DC movements, and there was only that one time in their jungle where they slipped up, and man, they got mega punished, so they know they need to stay disciplined and play cautiously, but in doing so, they are somewhat limiting their team's farm. So you're now going to go back to the jungle, but DC looking for the more important objective here, trying to take that last outer tower mod. They get up a nice high ground ward on the right side of the map. There's nobody here. They will get the tower. And next Roche gets a lot harder with this falling for EG.
It's just that the map control that you have now for DC, taking that tower away, can't TP in, contesting is a lot harder. You can't get to that Roshan as quickly. When Roshan is back up, expect to see a pick coming out from either team. So there is some pressure for PPD, but he's going to go up to the ancient team. Might get caught by Moo.
Oh, yeah. PPD in trouble. Just wanted to ward. Now he's going to die for it.
And the ward's going to get countered as well. Resolution painted out. He's like, man, vision is me over here. So they should have either a jet coming out or some sentries for DC to be able to take this down.
That's the one of the big things that Slark brings to the table is that dewarding potential where you can generally establish where the enemy wards are just because your Shadow Dance will be deactivated. So one of the few carries that brings a lot of vision prowess to the game, and DC able to take advantage of that as the game moves along.
I mean, you need that because you, like you said, you're against the Hawk, you're against the Astral. You have to have that vision advantage. Like the Hawk obviously turning invisible, you'll know that either there's a Hawk or a ward there, counter it in some way, shape, or form. You can pick up a gem for DC as well, something that they needed. I think they should have done a couple minutes ago. They have plenty of gold on some of these heroes.
Looks like Misery might want a Yules or a Force here. Saksa has already completed his own Force step. Nice items to kite a Sven. Even a Medusa. Sure, Medusa's a ranged hero, but she's in a mobile range hero. She has no mobility spells of any kind. Generally doesn't build mobility items, just wants to build tank and damage items. So Force Stats allow you to kite, but DC, they see an opening top. They're moving in on Sumail. This is a big pick. Rezo starts it off. He gets off the Stone Gaze. Cats comes through. They turn. Ice Patch blocks the retreat. Great play by Weeha. Now they can go in with the portal. They're going to find Sumail, and they roast him inside the bubble.
And the Death Ward comes down with fear, looking for the gleam. He's found one, he's found two, and Resolution barely lives. And Sumail somehow, I think he's alive.
He does end up surviving a beautiful grave from PPD. Time walk out for Moo. They thought they had him, but they're going to lose the fourth. EG, they spring the trap. It's so hard to find kills when you have Grave to worry about, Deuce's Stone Gaze to fight through. I really love that Jakiro played dropping the Ice Path to zone him and prevent him from retreating to the base, but he's just so damn tanky at this point. DC, no Diffusal Blade yet on the Void, no Manta. They don't have a Necro Bull carrier, or at least nobody's chosen to build one, so they lack reliable ways to get through the spell shield. If they could have stunned her before she Stone Gazed, that's an easy kill, but once she gets it off, they get punished.
Yeah, we'll have a Basher for Resolution next. He's chosen to purchase that. It's flying out on the courier as we speak. We have some lockdown now, but there is that Scotty for Sumail. So he's even tankier now with this item. It's not only the HP, but the mana as well. The slow, which is, of course, you talked about kiting. Not only the Sven, but the Dusa. Sure, you have 4 stabs, but you will still get slowed if you get right-clicked down by Scotty coming up from Sumail. And they'll look to pressure for what seems to be the first time in a while for EG. They're going to go for the tier 1 tower mid. And just group up together as a team. This mid lane.
But they haven't been out this far on the map in a long time. EG are rediscovering what it feels like to get outside their base. And I think they're liking it.
Another ward scouted by Resolution, pinged out. I'll drop down a sentry and clear it immediately. Although Fear looks like he wants to go in on this, but he chose not to for a moment there.
Going on the Slark is very difficult. Even if you catch him, reliably locking him down, tough to do. So they will contest. They don't actually claim the tower, but they buy themselves some farming time. Now Fear will go back to the stack. I think this last fight really shows that EG understand how to play against Faceless Void. They have a fantastic Void player of their own in Universe, and you want a defensive support. Almost always, that's where things will go right. Whether it's a Naga Siren, a bit unconventional, something more standard like a Shadow Demon, a Dazzle in this case. You need that hero that can save someone when the chrono gets committed, so that way they have to find a multiple hero chrono, and catching a Dazzle when you're trying to go high ground or when you're near their base is always going to be extremely tough. You don't have vision up on the high ground. You're unlikely to... Most likely the Beastmaster even sees you with the Hawk when you try to make that move, so as long as PPD sits back, they will have answers for the single hero Chronosphere. Moo's going to have to find a better one.
It looked like they were about to try again for Sumail, but he backs away the perfect times. They were looking for that Smoke of Deceit gank with DC. The Hawk has scouted out the fact that Roshan is up in EG. They want to try to make something happen here.
Rezo, he was in position to break that smoke, but he actually backs away. Maybe Misery the one to tank it. He kills the Hawk on his way out. He's sitting on the high ground. PPD marching down to the river, gets a ward. So like you said, Mod, it's all about this next Roche.
Everyone is so split up from DC. There's like 3 heroes bottom, then 2 mid. They're gonna find who it looks like to stop. No, it's the Stormhammer. And look at that damage from Fear. Radiant shots him.
Radiant just scanned and had just seen someone from EG in the neighborhood, but a split second late as the Void gets caught. Again, EG, vision has been massive for them this game. The Hawk setting up another crucial kill. The Spirit scouting, purchasing the early gem. DC, sure they have Slark who can eventually figure out where enemy wards are, but EG have that instant vision in the middle of fights that's making the difference, and it's tough to deal with. The gem, I think, is sorely needed to deal with the Hawk, to deal with the aggressive ward. PPD is now getting down. You can't let EG consistently get the jump.
And can we talk about what impact Weeha's had the past couple of minutes? That one team fight at the Grid Ice Path, of course, the ultimate coming out the macro pyre. Weeha's done a lot of work there, but the last couple of minutes, he's not been pushing. They haven't been pressuring the Ice Path to stop Sumail from getting back into the base, but they still lost that fight. Feels like Weeha's starting to fall a little bit behind in his impact later on in the game.
I mean, Jakiro does amazing magic damage in theory, but you have to be able to hold them in place. So unless you get a great Chronosphere, an amazing task, which we have seen once this game, you can't count on the Jakiro to dish out damage. It's not a hero that has reliable scaling the way a Dusa or Sven does, where they can just go and be frontline tankers that hit buildings. You kind of rely on your team to allow you to make plays, and that's normally not the role we see Weeha in. More often than not, Weeha is on the playmaking hero for the team, the Invoker, the Meepo. But mid lane, it's the old man who jumps in again. The Force Staff allows them to disengage. Ice Path will catch Fear, but good positioning. Look how far back EG's supporting line is. Universe, Zai, very far away. PPD as well. But Moo is coming from behind. He tries to sweep in, but there's a ward to scout this out. Slark, Invis, out of vision. They really need a chrono on these backline heroes, Mod.
And everyone's back, and that's a great chrono if we can find it. They're so low. The Roar instead of Resolution. There's the chrono, but it misses out Sumail. The Earth Splitter coming out. DPD getting low, but not low enough. He can grab himself if need be. And now it's everyone DC. They need to run. They need to leave.
Misery's stunned. The chase continues. The old man moving in. Hacking at Weeha, but he's very tanky with the plate mail. Not the easiest kill. Force Staff brings it back. This could be where Resolution turns the fight. No stone gates to worry about. God's strength is worn off. He hops up to the high ground. He's a bit scared. The Jakiro lives. The Twin Head dead. So damn tanky. And now the Dead Force. They do have a grave cooling down in 1 second. Will they get it off? Sumail about to die. Aegis round 2, but they do crack it. DC hold, and now EG will be very discouraged. They're going for a high ground push. They lay in the second time. Can they save him here? They really want to back off, waiting on the God Strength. It's been so long, it's almost pulled down.
5 seconds. That God Strength is back up. Another great Ice Path coming through. They still have that stop. And that's going to deter DC from coming through. Everyone low on man from DC. They have to back up.
It's a goddamn Herculean effort just to kill the Aegis here. DC having to pull out all the stops, all the plays, just to kill the Dusa once. That was without the Grave as well.
He even has the he has the Talisman of Evasion, which is insane. Like, that's even more mitigation that you have going the way of Sumail. So, like you said,
super tanky. Not to mention, they also have Warcry. There's a Glimmer Cape on Zai. Vlad. Tons of ways to keep Lady Dusa in fighting shape. You do see, though, like, EG really struggled to lock down Resolution. They roared him at the start of the fight, but there was Chrono there to prevent EG from following it up, and he was at full HP for the majority of the fight. So keeping the Slark locked down continues to be a problem for EG, and maybe lend some hope that late game Resolution can bait out those cooldowns and then look to take over. Also, in good news for DC, Moo working towards the Diffusal Blade. But the big thorn in DC's side has been that Weeha just hasn't been able to make huge plays here down the stretch, and generally when they've won, it's much like EG, where Sumail tends to step up. We'll have to see if Weeha can do it as the game progresses.
I mean, he's getting close to what I imagine to be that Shiva's Guard. That might be the item that changes everything. It's really good against some of these heroes for EG, but we'll see what he can do in these next couple of fights.
It's another kiting item for the Sven. Like, Fear is gonna be very irritated, but if anyone can have patience, it's probably the old man.
And Fear, all he really needs to do is get that God Strength, jump in and just get a couple of cleaves off, and then Sumail can maybe do the rest once he gets a bit more damage going his way, and he's getting there with that Butterfly being completed soon. In fact, he just needs the Eagle Song right now as he has the Quarterstaff picked up on top of it. And they'll move together down to the bottom jungle, bottom lane. They'll move in to try to push the tier 2 tower for The first times here in this game, they tried pushing that tier 2 mid. It got low enough, but it didn't actually go down, so...
You can see EG are getting more confident in their 5-man as the butterfly, as you mentioned, nearly complete. The items being picked up by Fear. This is where their lineup excels. Elder Titan is a fantastic 5-man hero. So too the Beastmaster. Even Sven is in his own way because of the Warcry and his ability to siege buildings effectively. So EG, they knock down another Mott. It's a dead even game as far as gold goes. Experience only a minimal advantage for EG. But momentum-wise, it does feel like EG is currently in the driver's seat. They're the team invading the enemy jungle. DC, they just want to farm. They want the Manta on Mu. They want Resolution to pick up his next item. He is the leader net worth. This is not really the time where they want to be fighting.
When it comes to late game, DC still have at least some good heroes to deal with the Deuce. You talked about it, obviously. The Diffusal Blade and the Manta coming out for Mu. The Faceless Void getting good Chronosphere. He has the Blink Dagger. It's not even level 3 yet. He's almost 16, so he will have it soon. And Resolution can still grow a little bit. He just picked up the Abyssal Blade not too long ago.
They also have Bloodlust. Don't forget about that. With a Slark stealing a bunch of damage, and now currently has a DD rune, speaking of damage. Could be extremely impactful. So even a Witch Doctor, like we've seen some really good death wards from Sox. So the tricky part for him is Warcry and AC is a pretty hard counter. But if somehow Fear isn't there for the fight or they kill him off prematurely, then death ward could be a difference maker.
Even Weave, like they have plenty of armor strategies here for EG. It's so
they have armor
so
for
hard
days.
to get through any of these heroes, let alone Sumail or Fear on those two carries. It's so tough at this point.
EG gonna group up mid. The bottom lane has been pushed in. They dropped an aggressive observer ward here, so they've ascertained that DC likely on the northern side of the map. They stick behind Sumail. Butterfly now complete. While DC, more the team that wants to split push, the team that wants to defend high ground. Bit less confident in their ability to force the issue right now.
We might be waiting until Roche before the next point of contention, although EG are very close to this tier 2 tower. I don't know if you defend this if you're DC. If they go high ground, then you have to TP back, but already at high ground is Weeha and the rest of DC.
They want to force CPs. Already though, EG have knocked down the tier 2 mid, even further limiting DC's Roshan access. You can see how long Resolution stays here. If there's something like a disruptor this game, he gets the hell out way sooner, but he has a lot of confidence in the matchup and knows that he can get those last couple of pokes in on the tower.
He's gonna go back in. I've seen this movie before, I feel like, and he's like, maybe not this time.
Yeah, just potentially looking to force an EGTP or ultimate reaction of some kind, but not actually gonna commit there. Oh, they do see him though. The Hawk comes in. Rezo needs to get out.
Fear coming in from the side. He's in Viz with that nice rune. He's got the Blink Stormhammer. Resolution doesn't know this. They don't have the gem? It's not up front. Yeah, they don't have the gem, so...
Oh, he's actually going to pounce forward. Oh. Abyssal Blade is available. If you can force out a grave early on Universe, could be a difference maker, but now Sumail moving in. He's chunking down the Ogre bit by bit. Pounce away, and Fear leaps forward onto Misery. Wants to connect, but a nice Abyssal Blade by Resolution allows to disengage. Then the bubble connects on two. Found Sumail in Universe. No stone gauge for this one, but they're so damn tanky, Mon.
Even the magic damage isn't doing anything. Universe finally getting off, but a two-man stun from Fear, and he immediately chops both those supports down. And Weeha getting right-clicked. The roar even expected to get that kill. 3 dead for DC, and Mu has the time off and TP away. Resolution was long gone at that point, and EG are turning this around bit by bit, LD.
They got the combo there. It just didn't matter. Dusa is so tanky at this point. Yeah, Resolution's not dying, Mod, but he's also not killing. He is really struggling to burst the Dusa down. I feel like we're seeing that without a super farm Void, they really don't have great tools. They got her without Stone Gaze even getting off. Like, that looks like the perfect initiation for DC. The follow-up damage simply isn't there.
Yeah, he almost got Fear in the Chronosphere as well, and maybe they could at least divert some of their attention to the rest of the heroes. But Fear was on the back lines, just going to work with the supports on some of those heroes. And now they're pushing with the Necro 3 up into the high ground. Weeha is not there for 16. Resolution caught. It's now getting low. Of course, the Scotty coming out, slowing him down. Stormhammer will hit as well. And this melee racks might fall.
They know there's no Chrono for 30. EG, good time to punish, but only the tower so far. DC hanging onto the racks for the time being. EG now almost losing their courier as it charged down mid. Very anxious to deliver PPD's 4 staff. But for EG, they find misery. They blink, roar, initiation. Not sure they want to commit on this. Fear's thinking about it. Has the blink available. He nails two! Touching out move. Void down before he can even time walking out Renzo on an island up against the world. He's been the hero before, but against this EG draft, it just doesn't seem like Slark can do it 1v5. He's not isolating anyone. He's been PPD chasing after him. He says, get the hell away from here, you little Slark. And they move in. They want the melee rack spawn. EG trying to force that game 3. Ice Pep, it's a swing and a miss. They force out the buyback. Muez Chrono, but Stonegate says no. He's got to back away. He might die back.
It's a Stormhammer. He's getting his time walking. He does get it off in time. Already split under resolution, doing some damage. Now time to back away. The Chrono Spear, they found Spear, getting good damage. He's so taking it one PPD instead. Might have to use the Great Line himself.
Only one with the Chrono. I don't think it's good enough. No fear. Re-engaging on the Weeha. DC about to lose the Jakiro again. And Renzo likely to be next. They brought down 3. A dive potentially here from Moo. He barely manages to blink away. For now, still being chased. EG resilient on the big stage. Still keeping the 2-time TI championship dream alive. Sumail, he doesn't care. He's gonna try for the TP out, but Renzo can stop this one. He forces Sumail to walk it off, and now he's out of the Mana shield. He may have overstayed his welcome. Stone Gaze, potentially enough here. Resolution getting slept, still backing off. They will bring down Sumail. Dead for 80. Does have the buyback, almost losing the Ogre here to the nuke damage. But when the dust settles, EG have dealt pretty critical damage to the DC base. Slark forced to buy back, Void forced to buy back. A massive net worth advantage now, with EG still yet to take Roshan.
That net worth advantage just swings down so heavily, 15,000 in favor of EG. I mean, they got the kill on Sumail, but that's pretty much it. And if DC maybe can get Roshan, they have some room to work with. But right now, they need to get more. And the Astral Spirit will scout it out. Stop will come through, Dark Pact was used, and if he did get stopped, but they're going to go back to work. There's the Bloodlust. EG might look to contest this 4 versus 5. We'll see.
Unless Dusa wants to buy back, they will have the power play here. There's no tower to TP to, so it's going to take Dusa a bit longer. Misery's in position to stop EG's easy initiation, though Fear could potentially go for the blink in, and they're getting nervous, Maud. They know they need to get the Aegis after using all those buybacks, losing a melee racks, but EG are threatening. At any moment, Fear could bounce.
This is taking a little too long. Sumail will be up in 10 seconds. There's going to be a stop again, but it's just Dark Packed it off once more.
Oh, these stalling tactics from EG. Fear's already dropped his helm. He's looking to leap. He's going to try to snatch the Aegis. Can DC prevent this? Stop. We'll set it up. There's the weave. They're prepping. And in he goes. He gets the Aegis!
And they're going to get Resolution. No, he actually has the Shadow Blade and the Shadow Dance out as well.
Oh, DC, the Roshan Gold, it hardly matters. They needed that extra life. This could be it, though, Mon. Beautiful combination. Chrono, as well as the Macro Fire, nuking them down, but still EG outlasting them. They have round 2 now with the Chrono expended. Top lane pushing in. DC could be their last gasp in this game. A dieback for Moo. Out for 80. EG in full control of game 2 as they march down the bottom lane.
That's a huge play from Fear. Jumping into the pit, 3 swipes, Roche is down, he gets the Aegis. Even with that great Chrono Spear, Fear doesn't care, he just survives. Gets that second life, and now they're ready to go again. And I don't know what you could do without that Chrono Spear up for the Faceless Void. No Faceless Void for 56. Now Fear has a heart.
Oh dear.
Even tankier than before.
He's going to be closing in on 4,000 HP with 50 plus armor, and that's not counting the weave, the medallion. And he's not even the main damage dealer necessarily. Sumail is an MKB in his own right. They quad lane this guy at points. Spawn, it doesn't feel that way anymore. He has shown resilience here again. He did it at DAC when he first burst onto the scene. Gave up 3-4 kills, now gonna find Misery, and still came back in that Grand Finals versus EG. And it's again EG delivering the killing blow now. This props the GG. And we will go to a deciding game 3. It's not over yet.
What play here on that spend, and the resiliency from Sumail. You can hear this crowd going crazy. EG are not out of it yet. Game 3 is coming, and I gotta say, for Fear and for Sumail to come back in that fashion. I mean, DC had a clear game plan. It felt like they wanted to push down towers. They wanted to get kills. They killed Sumail a couple of times. They make sure they would try to bring him down and just get him out of the lane as much as possible. Stop him from farming, and they did